The director of Chelsea Football Club is one of two oligarchs. The Foreign Office stated it is sanctioned with an estimated £10 billion asset freeze, the greatest in UK history. The government described the pair as Russian oligarchs and long-standing business associates of Chelsea proprietor Roman Abramovich. The Foreign Office stated Eugene Tenenbaum, a director of the West London club, has been sanctioned with an asset freeze alongside davidoch. Mr. Davidovich has been described as Abramovich's much lower-profile right-hand man. The Foreign Office stated the frozen property related with the pair are estimated to total up to £10 billion, the largest asset freeze action in UK history. It brings the complete number of oligarchs, family members and friends sanctioned to 106 since the war in Ukraine started. Foreign Secretary Liz Truss said, "We are tightening the ratchet on Putin's war machine and focused on the circle of humans closest to the Kremlin. We will keep going with sanctions till Putin fails in Ukraine. Nothing and no one is off the table." The Foreign Office stated Mr. Tenenbaum has described himself as one of Mr. Abramovich's closest business associates. It said corporate filings exhibit that he took control of Everington Investments Limited, an Abramovich-linked investment company, on February 24 immediately following Russia invading Ukraine. He is now subjected to an asset freeze, the government said. April 15, UPI, Eugene Tenenbaum, director of the Chelsea Football Club, has been blacklisted by the British government as it continues to target oligarchs, Russian elites and those in the inner circle of Russian President Vladimir Putin over his war in Ukraine. Tenenbaum and davidoch were sanctioned Thursday by Britain's Foreign Secretary Liz Truss, who said the asset freeze of their mixed $13 billion is the largest in British history. "We are tightening the ratchet on Putin's war machine and targeting the circle of people closest to the Kremlin," she said in a statement. "We will keep going with sanctions until Putin fails in Ukraine. Nothing and no one is off the table." Truss said the pair was being hit over their association with Roman Abramovich, the owner of the Chelsea soccer team who was sanctioned via Britain last month. The Foreign Ministry said that, by sanctioning Tenenbaum and davidoch, it was preventing their substantial assets from being repatriated to Russia and used to fund Putin's war in Ukraine, which has been going on now for 50 days. As proof of the pair's relationship with Abramovich, the ministry says, not only does Tenenbaum describe himself as one of Abramovich's closest business associates, but corporate filings show that he took control of an Abramovich-linked investment enterprise called Everington Investments on February 24, the day Russia invaded Ukraine. Davidoch, who was also hit with a travel ban, has been described as Abramovich's right-hand man and took over Everington Investments from Tenenbaum in March. Since the fighting began, Britain has sanctioned 106 oligarchs and their family members and associates. Early last month, before being hit with sanctions, Abramovich said he was selling the iconic British soccer team. He is one of 7 oligarchs to be hit with fresh sanctions, including asset freezes and journey bans. The list also includes billionaires Igor Sechin and Oleg Deripaska, both viewed as allies of Vladimir Putin. Today's sanctions are the latest step in the UK's unwavering support for the Ukrainian people. "We will be ruthless in pursuing those who enabled the killing of civilians, destruction of hospitals and unlawful occupation of sovereign allies," Mr. Johnson said. The government had come under pressure to sanction Mr. Abramovich, who said he had made the difficult decision to promote Chelsea FC earlier this month. Chelsea FC has been seized from Mr. Abramovich as part of the freeze on his assets, and the sale of the club is now on hold. The authorities says it will issue a special license that will allow fixtures to be fulfilled, staff to be paid, and existing ticket holders to attend matches. Season ticket holders can nevertheless attend games they have tickets for, but club cannot now sell any more tickets that haven't been sold already. The merchandise shop will be closed. Tenenbaum will be subject to an asset freeze as well as transport sanctions, meaning that any ship or aircraft owned, chartered, controlled, or operated by him could be detained if it enters Britain. Britain also sanctioned Davidoch, an associate of Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich, announcing he would be subject to an asset freeze and travel ban as well as transport sanctions. The British government stated on Thursday it had sanctioned Chelsea Football Club director Eugene Tenenbaum in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Tenenbaum will be subject to an asset freeze as well as transport sanctions, meaning that any ship or aircraft owned, chartered, controlled, or operated by him could be detained if it enters Britain. Britain also sanctioned Davidoch, an associate of Chelsea proprietor Roman Abramovich, saying he would be subject to an asset freeze and travel ban as well as transport sanctions. For both men, it gave the reason for being sanctioned as their close association with Abramovich, who has already been sanctioned by Britain. Kindly subscribe, like, share, comment and press on the notification bell for latest news outline.